on this exclusive interview is a man who may very well go down someday as the king of the internet. He's the podcaster, podfather himself, Conrad Thompson. How you doing today, sir?
Well, pretty good, man, but I don't know that I can say king of the internet. I have a long way to go there. Woo.
I don't think a lot of people even want that job, to be honest with you.
No.
Before we get into all the shows that you're currently doing, let's go start from the beginning. And I kind of know some of this story, but just for our listeners out there, what motivated you to get into podcasting? And more importantly, did you ever think it would get this big for you?
The motivation was, I thought it would be fun to sit and ask fan questions to Ric Flair as a one-off. And then at the end of that, he liked it, and CBS liked it, and I became an accidental podcaster. And there I discovered, hey, wait a minute, this might be a way to sell mortgages. For years and years I had been advertising my mortgage company on radio and TV stations in Alabama and Tennessee, but this was an opportunity to advertise my mortgage company nationwide. And it has worked. We had our best year ever in both podcasting and the mortgage business last year, so yeah, it's been a happy accident to say the least, but I don't know that I ever expected that I would have more than one podcast, so no, there's no way I would have ever imagined I would have as much as we do going on right now.
How did the Kurt Angle show come together, and also did you have to kind of clear some things with WWE before you were able to broadcast with him?
No, he's no longer under contract to WWE. He doesn't have any contract with them as far as I know. And he approached me and said, hey, Conrad, I've been approached about doing a podcast, but before I did something, I wanted to see if you might be interested in doing a podcast with me. And, of course, when Kurt Angle asked if you'll do a podcast with him, you jump at the chance. And here we are.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Starrcast, and probably the question that's on everyone's mind is, after COVID is finally beyond us and past us, will we see another Starrcast again?
Well, yeah, I'd love to do at least one more. We have a great partner there in Chicago at the Hyatt Regency in Schaumburg, Illinois. And I would love to do one more, especially since we've expanded my footprint of podcasts or content that we create. We could effectively just bring those, shows to the stage. And then, of course, wrangle in a whole bunch of meet and greets, from independents or AEW stars or WWE stars or legends or however. But that seems like that's so far away from being a possibility that it's hard for me to really get excited about it.
You're very close friends and also family with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. That's no secret. Obviously, that leads to a lot of adventures. Do you have any good Ric Flair stories that are safe for air?
Yeah, we've shared a lot of them on the podcast back in the day, but if I'm honest with you, since all my podcast stuff and mortgage company have really consumed my time, I haven't been able to spend as much time as we would like to. I think during the pandemic, we've only seen each other one time, but we will again, and we'll get to spend this weekend together, and that'll be a blast, and it's always great to catch up and spend some time, but to say that, we're all together for Sunday dinner, that's probably not accurate.
And that kind of leads me into my next question. How do you balance your business with your broadcasting and also handling media requests from jerks like me? How do you find the time to get through your day like that?
Well, I appreciate saying that, but no, this is fun, man. This isn't work at all. My normal mortgage day is a regular work day. You wake up, go to the office, do your full day, and come on home. And at that point, usually I'll have one or two I'll do after work through the week. Sometimes Arn and I will do at the end of the day on Monday. Usually Bruce and I try to record on Wednesday or Thursday. And then there's an occasional weekday where JR will want to record first thing in the morning, so I might get a later start to my day that way. But most of the recording, with the Tonys and the Angles and everybody else, and Eric, that usually happens on the weekend. So I usually chop off the first part of my day on Saturday and Sunday, and then a little after lunch I'm able to join the household and have a rest of the weekend.
And how much wrestling in the course of a week do you get to watch?
I'll usually have something playing when I'm not recording something. I'll have something just going in the background, either at the office or the home studio here. Whatever topics I'm going to be covering that week, they'll just be playing in the background. But I don't get a chance to watch every Raw or SmackDown or NXT show like I might normally. We do record them. I do DVR them. I will fast forward to the stuff that interests me, but I can usually knock out a 3-hour Raw in 20 minutes, and probably the same for SmackDown. And every now and again, I'll watch an AEW live simply because so many of my co-hosts are working there. I want to hear what JR and Tony are saying, and I want to see Arn come out there and strut around. And occasionally Eric pops up. So, That's been fun just because, I feel like I know those folks really, really well. But, I'd be lying if I said that I watched every one of those shows live as they happened. A lot of those wind up being DVR'd. And I'll watch the majority of that stuff. But again, I'm not the long-suffering wrestling fan. If I decide I don't like something, I'm not going to feel like I'm forced to watch it. I'll just fast forward and find the good stuff to enjoy. And I think that's what's great about being a wrestling fan right now is you have so many choices between Impact and Ring of Honor and New Japan. There's a lot of good stuff out there. You've just got to go find what you like and try to avoid what you don't like.
You've obviously always had a really good relationship with AEW right from the start. Just as a fan and observer, what do you think about these partnerships that they're forging with Impact Wrestling and New Japan right now, and are you excited to see this?
I'm super excited. I think it took somebody like Tony Khan who realized, hey, the old way of thinking is maybe a little outdated and a little short-sighted. This is going to be good for everyone involved. And in the end, in all those relationships, he's sort of the big dog. I mean, I know some people are going to hear that and argue that and say, oh, well, New Japan, yeah, but that's over there. This is here. Here in America, AEW is no matter how you slice it, number 2 to WWE. And it's a long way before we even have a discussion about number 3, in my opinion. So I think Tony's made the right move here. It's what I would do if I were a wrestling promoter, because I think he, like me and you, is a big wrestling fan. And I think that's probably the difference. Tony's a fan. Tony is uniquely qualified to know what we want to see because he's one of us. And I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way, but I don't know the last time, Vince McMahon was a wrestling fan of another promotion. I think he's a WWE fan. I don't think he is looking for any New Japan tapes or wants to know what's happening in Ring of Honor. I think he has people for that. But Tony Khan, he's probably watching all that stuff because he's like me and you. He's a wrestling fan.